Over time, my newfound status allowed me to make a gradual transition away from my previous involvement in criminal activities like robberies and burglaries. I started embracing my true identity as a gangster and began focusing on more legitimate, though still questionable, business ventures. One of my first opportunities came about through a guy named Billy Stagg, who wasn't directly connected to the mob, but knew the ins and outs of running an after-hours club. Billy informed me about this upcoming club on 62nd Street and 17th Avenue. Apparently, two individuals named John Rizzo and Matty Gambino were behind the venture. John was a respected member of the Gambino family, while Matty, although not officially initiated, carried influence because of his relation to Carlo Gambino, possibly as a nephew. Billy, feeling overwhelmed by the idea of managing the club alone, proposed that I join forces with him. With some money saved up, I decided to approach John and express my interest in being a part of this establishment. I understood that someone like him, an old-school mafia member, wouldn't want to be present all the time. His primary concern would be collecting his share of the profits. Interestingly, during my visit to John's place, I coincidentally encountered Louis Milito, who had a close relationship with him. Louis immediately recognized that I would be a great addition to the club, particularly because he saw Matty Gambino as an incompetent individual. And to my delight, the old man gave his approval, stating, "I love the idea. You're in." At that point, the joint was about halfway completed. Having some experience in construction work, I jumped in to lend a hand and help finish it up. As you entered, a spacious front room greeted you with an L-shaped bar spanning the right and back walls. The ambience was set with cozy cafe tables, chairs, a small dance floor, soft, inviting lighting. Beyond the front room, there was another area housing a large green felt table where we hosted a poker game, along with a small kitchen for sandwiches and snacks. From the very beginning, the club proved to be incredibly successful. I made it clear to Shorty and the Columbo family that I deserved a share in this club. I practically lived there, tirelessly working alongside Billy, whether it was defusing fights, ensuring everything ran smoothly, taking shifts at the card game, or keeping watch at the entrance. I was always in the thick of it. Consider this. I'm only 5'5", while some of these brawlers were towering at 6'1" or 6'2", and they didn't give a damn. Since it was an after-hours club fueled by alcohol, we started operating around 10 or 11 at night. People would come and go, and the place would be packed until 7 or 8 in the morning. Sometimes the poker games would stretch on for days without a break. Matty Gambino was the only headache we had to deal with. He would swagger in, his coat draped over his shoulders, playing the role of Don Juan. Handsome as he was, he'd have a few drinks, pick up a couple of girls, and then vanish. Louis Milito, although not involved in the club, often hung around, bringing in customers for drinks and cards. "Sammy," he'd ask, "how's everything going?" And I would reply, "It's going well." Then he'd question, "Why is everything on your and Billy's shoulders? Why doesn't Matty do some work?" "Louis," I responded, "are you trying to harass me? Matty's just Carlo Gambino's nephew, but he acts like he's the Don himself. He pops in and then disappears." The truth is, I wished Matty would never even step foot inside the club.